I'm sure of all the characters in the Marvel Universe, you probably have like a whole stack of guys making TV shows. I want to know, what was it about Cloak and Dagger that really made you say we want to do a show about these guys?
Well, every show that we look at, we start from a place of what can we say that's different from our other shows. What made Cloak and Dagger unique in the 1980s was that it was first a show about teenagers. It was a story about teenagers. And secondly, that it was a story about race. And in many ways, at the time, it was not just what it was about. And when we started looking at what's happening around us now, what really became important to us was how important kids, teenagers, young adults are, particularly through social media, affecting the world around us. And whether it is that they're marching on Washington to talk about the horrors of what went on in Parkland, or whether it is that they're just trying to communicate with each other about what's happening to the world, and the having the strength and the passion to be able to say, yeah, that's fine, but we have to live here after you're gone. And when we looked at that, we said, that's a voice that we need to have. And happens to be a voice that Freeform really likes projecting out to not only their audience, but to the world. And so it became a sort of a good idea. I think is we had a network that was looking for young heroes. We had two young heroes that we were interested in telling a story about. We had a showrunner in Joe Pekaski, in that was passionate about who they were as Ty and Tandy, and not so much as Cloak and Dagger. Meaning, every show that we start with, we always want to start with who's the person, what's happening to them, and in particular, what we love about the show is it's hard enough trying to figure out how to be a kid. Now, let's add that little Marvel sauce of, oh, by the way, you have powers. And so it's not a show, that's what people ask us all the time, which is, do you think that there are too many superhero shows? And I go, I don't know, we don't make superhero shows. We make shows about people who, yes, they have powers, and yes, they are Marvel, but if it doesn't work on the very basic level of you love Ty and you love Tandy, and when you've got Olivia Holt and you've got Aubrey Joseph playing those parts, they're doing more than half the work. The other half is great writing that's coming from Joe Pekaski, and in the case of the first episode, Gina doing the directing. And there's a story that I love to tell, which is when Gina came in and first talked to us, we said, what is it about the script that attracted you to it? And she said, I have two young boys at home, and they have said to me, why is it that there are no heroes of color that we can look at and say, that's who we want to be? And it's fine that we have Luke Cage, that's awesome. It's fine that there's an incredibly diverse group that's at S.H.I.E.L.D. or an incredibly diverse group that's at Runaways. They hadn't seen Runaways at that time. But the idea of being able to create Ty and Tandy so that young women and young men can look at someone who is their own age and perhaps that color, or perhaps have a friend that's that way, so that they can look at it and go, wow, this story feels like me. And that's a unique opportunity, and that's what always we're looking to do.
Because you said race is such an important part of the story, how important was it for you guys to get diverse voices behind the scenes to help tell that story? Like, I know Gina's directing it, and how is that influencing the authenticity of the character?
Well, I wish that we were in a world where that was not a question that we would need to ask, that what we would do is we would just look around and go, it's a diverse crew, it's a diverse cast, it's a diverse writing staff, but it's something that we have to continually work towards, and I'm really proud that particularly at Marvel Television, that the way we look at things is we don't care whether or not you're a man, a woman, an alien. If you've got talent, you need to be working with us telling stories, because when you look at our characters, they look like the world. And that's the thing that's really important.